Hello and welcome to another episode of the ZTV Sports Report, your home for all things Akron Zips athletics. I'm your host, Max Erisey, joined once again by Josh Feaster. Josh, how we feeling today, man?
I'm feeling good. Last episode, I was a little nervous to be up here, but now I got that out the way, got that first episode under my belt. I'm ready to get to it.
Yes, sir. And just like that last episode, we got a lot of good content, a lot of good sports.
Facts.
So don't go anywhere, because the ZTV Sports Report starts now. On September 13th, the Zips soccer team had quite the nail-biting match against the Ohio State Buckeyes. Here's Josh, who will show us how it went.
It's soccer season and we got Akron taking on the Ohio State University. Ain't too much need to be said. Let's get right into it. Hey, and the action started early too because 5 minutes in, Ryan Kingsford scored off an assist from Shukaluk. Ohio State answered back immediately though. And when I say immediately, I mean immediately. Cause literally 2 minutes later, Owen Sullivan scored, putting Ohio State on the board and making it a tie game. And it was here we knew we had a game on our hands. Hey, and one thing I loved about this game is how intense it was. Like you could literally feel it in the atmosphere. But it makes sense if you really think about it though. Cause they're both ranked teams pretty evenly matched. Akron gives up a goal early. Ohio State gives up one after. They're not giving up no more goals. Look at the defense from both teams. Both teams kept it up for a while too. Nobody else scored in the first half, but 10 minutes into the second, Ohio State went up 2-1 with a goal by Xavier Green. If I'm being honest, I gotta say at this point in the game, it was a little scary to be an Akron fan, because Ohio State just kept attacking and attacking and attacking. So I also gotta say shout out to Mitch Butler, cause he ain't let nothing in, he really held it down. Hey, and one thing I love to see happen in sports is when one player starts eating and then the rest of his teammates follow. And that's exactly what happened here. You saw how Butler was playing and then Shukaluk takes advantage of that momentum and gets him a goal and ties things back up. When it comes to games like this, one thing that you have to expect is physicality. And let me tell you, this game started to get physical. Both teams started to get into foul trouble, but they didn't let up. They kept playing hard. Now, if I had to pick a favorite moment of this game, it's going to this right here, no question. Stefan Dobrevich with a crazy header to put Akron up 3-2 late in the second half. Absolutely insane. In a clutch moment, man, Dobrevich is him. After that goal, somehow both teams started playing even harder. And you know, like I said, when you play hard, it's going to get a little bit more physical. So foul trouble became more of an issue for both teams. And that led up to a red card on Jason Shukaluk, putting Akron down a man and taking one of their best players out. This is a huge moment because it was already a close game, but now the Zips got to play at a disadvantage. From here, the Zips playing with 10 men were able to create a scoring opportunity for themselves, but they don't finish it. So after that, it was all about holding on to their lead. But Ohio State had other plans. They scored off a header, tying things up 3-3. From here, the game is pretty much just defense and it ends in a draw. This was Josh with the coverage. Peace.
Thank you, Josh, for that coverage. I mean, from a soccer fan perspective, that's got to be one of the most exciting and entertaining games you can possibly ask for.
Man, look, Max, I ain't even a soccer person. I have never been to a soccer game before that. But let me tell you, I was on the edge of my seat the whole game. It was a dogfight. And then, like, you know me, I'm a football person. It was so physical.
You basically saw a football
It
game.
was so physical. So many yellow cards, man. But them yellow cards did end up hurting us a little bit, you feel me? Yellow cards led to that red card, got Shukaluk out of there.
Yeah.
had to finish without a man, gave up a goal.
Yeah, so I mean, considering that they played a man down for a while, I guess it's, still tolerable that they came away with the draw. But, dude, this is an Akron program that historically dominates Ohio State. So, granted, it was a very good Buckeye squad, but you would like to, come out with a win as always. But that was a tremendously exciting game.
Yeah, and honestly, I do think that game did us some good still. Like, that Ohio State team, like you said, they were nice. And for us to get the draw down a man, I think that gave us some nice momentum moving forward into our next one. And then who did we have? We had Pitt. We tied them too, though.
3-3 once again. It was
Yikes.
a top 5 Pittsburgh team. So I guess this is a situation where you'll take that tie, a little more than in other games, with it being such a good program. But, I mean, you look at these two games, man, between Ohio State and Pitt, they've allowed 6 goals. The Zips are not going to win if you're allowing 3 goals a game.
Exactly. Like, we put up 6 goals, so our offense is nice.
The offense is there.
We got to get it done defensively if we really want to make a run postseason.
And you think this is a team that's got all the pieces. They've got the roster to make a deep run. So they just got to really tighten up defensively. Stop letting in all these goals. Because, I feel like in that Ohio State game, for example, they would make some nice goals. Or they would, take the lead. They're in a good spot. And they just, every time, they let Ohio State back into it.
Right.
When they really shouldn't have, been doing that. They should have been on lockdown, but they weren't. So, I think with that said, a lot of good things to improve on, but a lot of potential with this team.
Facts.
So we're going to take it into our first commercial break now. But when we come back, we'll be checking out the football team and seeing how their last couple games have gone. Stay tuned.
You're watching ZTV.
I hate this history textbook. Class is so boring.
You think your class is boring? My science lab is 5 hours long. I can barely remember anything.
If only there was a fun way to learn this stuff.
Hey, check this out!
History and science don't have to be boring. 5-minute flashback and 300 seconds of science cover tons of cool topics. You can learn about subjects such as the science behind bilingualism, all the way to the history of Godzilla. Become the teacher and educate others about your passions. Check us out on 45-1 at these times. Have fun learning!
When I was in foster care, I never knew when I would have to move. So I always had my suitcase ready to go. Then one day, I was adopted. My new parents opened their hearts and home to me. My parents cook my favorite breakfast for me every morning. My parents take me on trips I never thought I would go on. They gave me a home and an even better reason to use that suitcase. My parents aren't perfect, but they're perfect for me.
You're watching ZTV.
Welcome back. The Zips football team recently played 2 tough games against top 25 ranked opponents. So let's take it over to Zach and see how they fared.
Hello everybody, Zach Leininger back here again, and today we're going to take a look back on the past 2 Zips football games. During these past 2 games, the Zips suffered 2 devastating losses at Michigan State and Tennessee. In the first game on the road at Michigan State, the Zips lost 52-0. During that game, DJ Irons was 9 for 13 passing with 123 yards and was keeping the offense afloat. Unfortunately, he was hurt in the second quarter, so we won't get to see how the game could have gone differently with him at the helm. On a brighter note, the Zips had 2 picks on defense along with 3 TFLs, although it still wasn't enough to survive the barrage of touchdowns being scored by Michigan State. In the next game, the Zips stayed on the road, however it wasn't much better as the Zips lost to Tennessee 63-6. Zips fans all breathed a sigh of relief when DJ Irons stepped back on the field following the injury he suffered the week before. During the game, Irons was 32 for 44 passing with 241 yards. In addition to Irons, we had Shockey Jock Louise, who caught 9 passes for 103 yards and provided a lot of offense for the Zips. Surprisingly, the biggest performance of the night came from kicker Noah Perez, who scored all the Zips points, going 2 for 2 on field goals. Despite the improvement on offense, the Zips defense regressed as they gave up 11 more points and were getting torched all game long. To be fair, the Zips faced some steep competition, with both teams being ranked in the top 15, although you would have hoped that the Zips would have put up a better fight. Looking at the season up to this point, TJ Irons has completed 63 of 94 pass attempts for 653 yards and 2 touchdowns, posting a 67% completion percentage. Irons has been an anchor for the Zips offense, and we can only hope the defense can step it up and match Irons' intensity. Looking ahead, the Zips face some competition that they can definitely pick up some wins against, so we hope they'll take full advantage of the opportunities. Once again, I've been Zach Leininger with the ZTV Sports Report, and as always, go Zips.
Well, I can't say we were, expecting to win either of those games, but you'd like to do a little better than that. What were your key takeaways, Josh?
I mean, Max, we scored 6 points, gave up over 100 in 2 games. So obviously we need to tighten up on defense. We can't be giving up 50-point games. Like our offense needs some help. Mm-hmm. And then our offense do need to
do a little
put
better
some points on the board. Put some points on the board. I think we need to get better running the ball, if I'm really being honest, though, because we could pass the ball pretty decent, but our run game isn't there for real.
Yeah, Irons definitely, didn't look bad those couple games, at least all things considered. But that running game is rough, man. I don't think they had a single rusher in either of those games with more than 30-ish yards, and you're just not going to win games like that.
Yeah, we're averaging 2 yards of carries across them 2 games. That's not going to cut it at all.
And, like I said, you can't expect to win either of those games, but, Toledo dropped at least 21 on Ohio State. So, you'd hope for the Zips to at least score a touchdown or 2. Yeah. But, I mean, you just got to make it a learning experience, man. You got to just take that and, take the takeaways that you can have and just improve what you can improve. It'll be slow going. We've talked about that last episode. But, hopefully they can do a little better than that as they move into the season and, pick up a couple more wins. So with that, I think we're going to head into our next sport, which is volleyball. We're going to take it over to Davion, who will cover how their season has started.
What's up? It's Davion, and I'm about to tell you what's going on with our Zips volleyball team. So far, the team has a 3-8 record. There have been some key players this season, such as offensive leader, red shirt senior Tegan Ochaya, who has had 154 kills, 24 blocks, and 119 digs. Junior Faith Johnson had 112 kills, 15 blocks, and 103 digs. And red shirt freshman Bailey Vogt, who has over 200 assists. Back on April 7th, the University of Akron welcomed new head coach Tyson Norton. Norton has had 15 years worth of experience as a collegiate coach and spent the last 2 seasons coaching at Utah State. Recently, the Zips hosted the Akron Invitational, in which they squared off against Cleveland State, Valparaiso, and Morgan State. Against Cleveland State on September 8th, the Zips pulled out a 3-2 victory, although they were up 2-0 and let their opponents back into the game. Key players were Tegan Ochaya with 12 kills, Mia Thompson with 18 digs, Carliana Jones with 5 blocks, and Avery Brown with 21 assists. The next day, they dropped a game to an undefeated Valparaiso team in 4 sets. The Zips were led by Faith Johnson with 19 kills, Bailey Vogt with 24 assists and 11 digs, Tegan Ochaya with 14 kills and 12 digs, and Lauren Laka with 20 digs. Next, they played Morgan State University on September 10th, blowing them out by a score of 3-0. Key players in this game were Tegan Ochaya with 13 kills and 14 digs, Jada Young with 4 blocks, and Bailey Vogt with 19 assists. I have faith in the talent of this team and their coach and hope to see them pick that 3-8 record up and have a great season. This is Davion Mosley-Wesley with the ZTV Sports Report. Go Zips!
Thank you, Davion, for that coverage. Josh, I know the record doesn't show it, but this is a team with some serious talent on the roster.
Man, Faith Johnson, Tegan Ochaya, Bailey Vogt, this team is stacked.
Yeah, dude, I mean, Faith and Tegan, 2 very heavy hitters. They really rack up the points and the kills. And then you got Bailey setting to them. So it's a good little triad they got going there.
That's what I'm saying.
I mean, dude, there's sometimes you're watching those games and Faith gets a big spike, bro. You don't even see the ball. It's a blur. It's an absolute blur. So, and then, past that, they've got players like Lauren Latka. She's kind of the glue that keeps them together. And then Carliana Jones, underclassman who made some substantial impacts last year and has continued that into this year. So a lot of good talent. Josh, what do you think are some of the big things that they need to focus on as we move forward in the season and get into MAC conference play?
Well, like we said, we got all the pieces. So I feel like right now it's really just chemistry, because they're not playing bad. They're not playing bad at all. So I feel like get the chemistry right so they could really go out and execute, build some momentum, and we're going to be cool, when we really get in the MAC play.
Yeah, and I think, obviously volleyball is a sport of adjustments, but one thing the Zips, I believe, need to work on is they need to be more consistent set in and set out. Because, they'll start a game and they'll just dominate the first set, and maybe the second set too. But, I feel like there have been multiple times where the tables have kind of just turned on them. So they've got to, just stay consistent and just keep playing strong. And I think we can see a lot of good things. So hopefully we do. So that basically wraps up our current season discussion. But just like last episode, we're not quite done yet. So stay tuned after this last commercial break for more.
You're watching ZTV.
Class was canceled.
Oh, dude, let's go do something.
What do you want to do?
We can go to the peanut shop. We haven't done that.
I'm okay. I'd rather go to Cleveland again.
Cleveland again? That's so last season.
Still better than the peanut shop.
Well, we never tried the peanut shop.
What can there really be at a peanut shop?
There's so many great options. Sarah's told us
What
about.
options are at a peanut
We
shop?
already went
Peanuts.
to Cleveland. We have ideas too.
You are loved. You are valued. You are resilient. You got this.
You are there for them. We are here for you. Find free care guides at aarp.org/caregiving.
Akron After Hours this season, we're doing things a little differently.
You're watching ZTV.
Welcome back. On the last episode, we closed out the show with a brand new segment called Zips Classics. In that instance, looking at the 2005 football team. This time around, we're going to take it over to soccer in their 2010 season when the Zips were national champions. As always, follow us on Instagram and Twitter at ZTV Sports and subscribe to our YouTube page at ZTV Sports Report. As always, I'm Max Erisey.
I'm Josh Feaster.
Thank you for watching, and go Zips!
And by Patakwong strikes in on the whistle. It comes inside, straight out. Caldwell. Shot was blocked. He'll try it again.
Discusses the side. Gavin won it the other night. Can he continue it here? He does not. The Cavaliers are the champions.
What was really tough to swallow is once we got to the Final Four, we had an injury to Michael Nanchoff, and then Ampai got injured, and the Anthony Ampai Patakwong got injured in UVA early on and couldn't play the rest of that game or in the final. And those were two catalysts for us, two creative players that kind of helped bring the whole thing together from the back half to the top half. And to have those guys miss significant minutes after playing so much in the season, and to go on undefeated and then losing PKs, I think just left a bad taste of like, not that we got it stolen from us, but that was ours, and we didn't finish the job, and a lot of guys were really motivated the following year. I believe we started the season against UNC and Wake Forest on the road, 2 top 10 teams, and won 3-0 and 3-1. I think that set the tone not only for us of, hey, look, we're ready, we can get back at it, but also to the rest of the country that we didn't miss a beat. There was a key addition that we made, Perry Kitchen, who I think, we lost, Blair Gavin and Ben Zemansky from 2009, 2 guys that were in the back of midfield that helped us control games, and then we replaced them with one player, essentially Perry. And Perry was able to, his personality and defending and just talent as a freshman allowed us to continue what we did in 2009 and even be more aggressive in the attack. So I think his addition was a key. And then the other guys were just, determined from game one till the end to just stay focused on that goal. In the first half, we get scored on. We thought the goal was offsides, so the linesman's on our bench, and then we scored to tie it up, and we said something to the linesman, and then one of the assistants, not myself, one of the other ones, said something to the linesman because instead of being up 1-0, we're 1-1. And then Caleb said something to the linesman, and the linesman refused to ref the game unless the referee tossed Caleb. So the referee wouldn't toss Caleb and give him a red card. So the referee walked off the game. So the 4th official had to now go find flags. He wouldn't even let the guy use his flags. He literally walked off, grabbed his bag, left the stadium. So we had no 4th official for most of it. The 4th official had to find some flags and then be the linesman. And then we went on to win 3-3 with Kyle tying it late, and Kyle universally had the top goalie in the country, and we thought going in the game the only chance we have of losing is if we go to PKs, and we ended up beating him in PKs, which I think knowing how good of a keeper he was made our guys really they hit tremendous, their PKs were just unbelievable on that day to get by him and well placed, and I think that game was in some ways more tense because the expectations was we were going to be in the Final Four. I think 20 of the 22 players went on and played in the MLS. So I think in terms of talent on the field, that was probably the most MLS talent in a college game in my time here. I think we played Michigan early in the year, and then I can't remember if that was 7-1 or 5-2. We beat them pretty handily. We knew they grew from that game, and were playing the best they played all year, and then they scored a pretty early goal. And I think for us it was we were a little surprised to be in that moment. We worked so hard to get there, and we were now trailing when we knew we were better than a team. And I think what Perry's goal did was just kind of get us back into our right frame of mind, and to have the confidence to hit it from that far out and hit it the way he did is why I mentioned at the beginning of the year he's probably one of the real keys in this all happening.
Natchov, back post header, and Akron has taken the lead.
Because we went to the final last year, it was a little tense, especially with the coaching staff, and Caleb wanted to win, and you're going to go face Ken Lola, who was previous coach at Akron, and Caleb took over for Ken, and Ken left Akron to go to Louisville because he didn't think he could win a national championship, here. And, I knew there was going to be a lot there, and I told Caleb for the first time, I'm like, look, I'm going to miss training. Only training I missed that was non-recruiting reasons, to just study Louisville. I pretty much had Louisville studied before I got to the Final Four, but, I needed to withdraw. The tension was there. So I thought we'd go to training. Well, he ends up taking the guys to the beach. So I missed the beach. The guys go have fun, don't train at all. I go back, I miss it, and I work on it. But when I got back, I got the sense of calmness, and guys were a lot more, in their good frame of mind. And, we get to the field, and first thing Caleb says to me is, it's going to be an emotional day, but you need to not be emotional. I need you to help us get through this game tactically. So I, got myself locked in, and I think, once the game started, we knew it was two good teams, but I think throughout the whole time, we had the belief that we were going to figure out the win. And, Scott Caldwell, probably the perfect guy because he's another one that a role player at the time, and Cleveland State was the one game he didn't start because at that time he had 0 goals, 0 assists. So we were looking for somebody that can maybe bring more attack. So we pulled him, and it ended up being a mistake because he kind of was the glue that kind of made things go, especially on that side with Kofi behind him at fullback. So for him to get the goal, and he had 5 goals in the NCAA tournament, I think that just showed the strength of our team. And we won it on a restart when, our strength probably wasn't restart goals. And, obviously at the end there was chaos moments, and we cleared one off the line and weathered a late barrage of Louisville chances. But I think once we got to the game and got settled in, I don't think anybody thought of anything other than we were going to win.
And by Patakwong strikes it on the whistle. It comes inside, straight out. Caldwell. Shot was blocked. He'll try it again. There it is for Caldwell. A terrific goal. And Akron has taken the lead.
I mean, I still can remember it, guys, where, some of the players that are, youth national team players crying on the field, and a lot of hugs and celebrations, and just surreal in the moment because you work so hard, and you've been, for that team, they've been so close, just remember the president saying we can stay an extra night, and we stayed and just enjoyed the moment and the victory. And I think for the program, look, we were, since I've been here in 2007, 2008, we improved every year and became known as one of the best teams in the country, and especially the way we play. And to have it kind of solidified with a championship is what you need to take that next step. And, then the goal there is to kind of continue, doing those things. It's special, and we're looking forward to the next one.
This program was produced by ZTV at the University of Akron. Do you want to gain experience in video production, professional social media, or working with real clients? Visit the UA School of Communications online or follow us on social media to learn more. ZTV, make media, make a difference.